Alright guys, today is the first episode of KARP, which is the acronym for Kiyomaki's Anime Recommendation Project. And this feels weird, I'm not wearing the right t-shirt for this. Alright, that's much more like it. So today's first episode is going to be on My Hero Academia. In this anime, it is set in a world where the superhuman society overrules the world. I don't mean overrules. I mean 80% of the population possesses some form of quirk, a superpower. And when people have these such quirks, they have three paths to live down. They can live a slight ease of life, they can become a pro hero, or even fall down the path of villainy. Straight away, when I look at this, I feel like the term quirk is a lot more unique than saying superpower, because in reality, not all, even in the show, not all of these powers are super. Abnormal, definitely, but I wouldn't say super. So saying that quirk meaning a part of the characteristic that makes them unique and stands out. This is definitely what they are. The quirk sounds a lot better than superpower in the series. There are people that there are a few powers I wouldn't consider being super. Not at all. There's one character called Froppy, who has a large fan base. Everyone loves her. She's very innocent, very blunt, but cute as a character. And Froppy's ability is frog, and by that, she can do whatever a frog can. She can leap high places, swim really fast, and stick to walls, and spit out her own stomach to clean it. So there's that. I wouldn't necessarily say you could be a superhero by being a frog in that sort of way, but it's definitely quirky. It's unique, and that's a straight up point that I like about this from the first start. The author Kohei Hirikoshi actually got a lot of inspiration from Western superheroes, mainly Marvel. Marvel is his favorite Western comic brand. If you watch the series, if you already know your Marvel heroes or villains, you might actually see some Easter egg or references to Marvel. There's one character who's a bit like Cyclops, but not in the same way. Rather than shooting lasers from his eyes, he shoots a laser from his belly button. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but like Cyclops, he has to have a visor to help control it to use it. This character, Aoyama, he has to wear a belt that's got like a mirror or like a refractor, and that helps him control and condense his laser into a fine point. So there are others. There are definitely other ones in there, but I'm through this series, it's fantastic. I love it. And speaking of heroes, one of my favourite is a character that straight up he's aggressive. He's definitely aggressive, but he's ambitious. He's strong, and he is definitely well developed in multiple of ways. And his name is Katsuki Bakugo, and his quirk is he creates explosions from his palm. That straight up way just sounds kind of basic. He just hold something to blow it up. In reality, in deep fact, actually, he sweats nitroglycerin from his palms that creates a chemical reaction to explode. Obviously, it's not constantly exploding. He can ignite it when he wants. That's how it works. And the reason why I feel like this is one of my favourite characters and favourite quirks is because he uses it in so many different ways. In a fight, other than the obvious fact he can grab someone, blow them up, cause a little bit of harm to it, he uses it with science. When the explosion goes off, a shock wave of force goes off. It will propel him. So he may use the explosions from the palm of his hands to speed up. Like he could jump and push off the powers from his hands, and he'll go ba 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 ba, and he'll just technically just fly across. Sometimes, in a similar way, he'll use that in place. In a fight, he may grab someone with one hand, use his opposite hand to push his body and propel the force to be able to lift someone and throw them around. He uses it to glide, defend, blind. He uses explosions in so many ways, and it expands and grows over the series. And that's what a lot of these characters have. A lot of these characters, when you first meet them, you hear the baseline of their abilities. Some of them do expand more than others. Some of them sort of stay the same, but the character themselves do develop quite quickly. A lot of things happen through this series, and they have to go from kids with powers to actually training to be heroes to then actually act like heroes. So for them to do this, they have to go to a school called UA High, and that's where they teach them to be heroes and control their powers and eventually gain hero licenses so that they can use their powers within the law's confines. So straight away, we've got, a good setting. We've got a school that wants to help kids. Even with Bakugo, who is very angry, very, very vicious and a lot of things. He wants to be Pro 1. He is so ambitious to be Pro 1. He is willing to beat his classmates down. Because if they can't handle him, then they can't be heroes. They can't be number 1. And that's who he's going to be. He is absolutely determined to be Pro Hero number 1. Just like our main character, Izuku Midoriya, whose hero name becomes Deku. Izuku has no quirks. He has no ability. He has gone through all his time through early school, going into UA, just by learning. He has watched heroes. He has documented. He has got tons and tons of booklets of how different heroes work, how their quirks are. He is an encyclopedia, which isn't his quirk. It's just him. He is so ambitious. He has written so many books to learn to be a hero, even without powers. He learns different ways to not disarm, but definitely different ways to distract and work around rather than going head forward. Unlike Bakugo. Bakugo is definitely a head forward sort of person. Deku is finding other ways around it. But with his story in the first episode, he has no quirk. And through his day, eventually he gets attacked by a villain who is trying to escape police. Unfortunately for him, the pro number 1 hero, All Might, was following and saves Deku from this villain. Deku pleads and pleads and pleads for just a small amount of time to spend with the pro hero. It's his idol since he was a younger child, and he asks, even without a quirk, can he be a hero? All Might says yes, but he says you're better off joining the police. If you have no quirk, but you want to be a hero, it's better that you join the police force. Deku's a little bit distraught by this, and cries. He cries a lot. He is a crybaby, but he's still determined to be a hero. When after an incident and a speech that Deku gives himself, like he wants to be a hero no matter what, in this, and this, without a quirk, All Might sees a lot of himself to Deku, so he parts his secret to Deku and says, I was quirkless until I was given this ability. And he tells him the secret of One for All, his quirk being able to pass from generation to generation, stockpiling other quirks to meet the next person. And so All Might says, I will train you to learn my quirk and then I'll pass it on to you. And that's how Deku gets his quirk eventually, One for All, which has a multiple range, and the main thing we follow of it is he has super strength or super body enhancements that he can't control, and him going to UA and All Might actually being a teacher there for this semester is how he's going to learn to control that quirk and then eventually make it his own to become number 1. Deku probably has the most character development through this because he is the main character, and because of that, where his quirk is dangerous. If he uses it, when he uses it in the first few times, he actually breaks his arms and legs because he can't control it. So the amount of strength and pressure put onto his arms when he punches and when he jumps, leaps bounds high, he breaks his legs, he breaks his arms. Luckily, there is a nurse in UA that can heal, most wounds in seconds. Luckily. So after a while, he eventually tries to find a way to reduce the amount of pressure, amount of power he's using on his limbs so he doesn't break his arms or legs. And then eventually he develops new techniques, new ways to use it, and it becomes his quirk. It's his quirk from then on, and it's fantastic. The way it's done is amazing. There's more to the soundtrack, but I'll leave it to you to watch. So hopefully me rambling on for the past roughly 10 minutes has piqued your interest in this, an anime that has been inspired by Marvel Comics, has loads and loads of character development as a quirk, as a character, and even the costumes change a few times because they learn, the more they use their quirk, the more they learn about it and they understand they need to change the costume a little bit, and they do that. That's what happens. You don't just wake up, got your powers, understand, and that's it. There is so much in development to make yourself a hero or a villain. The villains in this are, again, fantastic. The main supervillains in this definitely are a threat with the skill, with their quirks such as decay or I can't remember what it calls it, but there's one villain that if he tastes a blood type, a positive, a negative, or any other, he can paralyze anyone in the area with that blood for a period of time. That's evil. That is torture. That's a villain. That to use that, you'd be a villain. You couldn't be a hero. Well, you could be a hero, but it's not your first thought. But yet the villains in this are just as interesting as the heroes, and they all have their own form of character development evolution. So, this anime is currently at 88 episodes over 4 seasons, 2 movies, and Season 5 has just been announced for March 2021 release. The number of episodes may be too much for some people, but if you want a relaxed flow of episodes, Season 1's only 13 episodes, and then Seasons 2, 3, and 4 are 25. But if the episodes are too much to binge watch, you can watch them in parts. So each season from 2 till 4, where it's 25 episodes, actually split in half for story arcs. So you could go watch Season 1, get a lay out of what UA has to offer and what the heroes are going to be like, and then you can go and watch Season 2 Part 1, Part 2, and so on. Each half has its own story arc. They're all interconnected. It doesn't feel like they're jumping through so many story plots. It's very, very smooth with the transitions, so you're not going to feel like you're missing too much. This story is easy digestible for anyone, really. You can watch all the way through, you can do it bit by bit. It's not a problem. So hopefully this recommendation for My Hero Academia, which you can currently watch on, I'm pretty sure, on Funimation and Crunchyroll anytime you like, and hopefully this recommendation has given you some things to think about, and you might find interest in this. And if you do, please like, comment, tell me that you've watched it, whether you liked some parts or not. But if my recommendation has given you enough to think I might give it a go, that's what I'd like to know about. So from me, thank you very much. I'll see you next time. See ya.